Before I move on and show you some of the more advanced features of this Google spreadsheet, I just want to go over some of the basics of working in the spreadsheet and with the cells down here. If you've ever worked with Excel or OpenOffice or like numbers on a Mac, you kind of have an idea of how a spreadsheet program works. And Google Spreadsheet is pretty similar in a lot of ways to that. But let me just show you. To adjust the width of a column, you can just click on the edge and drag it. And to do multiple columns, you select them, and then the one you're dragging, both columns will go to the length of that one when you finish. So I've got multiple ones selected, A and B, but it will reduce it back to the A back to the length I dragged B to. And that applies for rows as well. Just selecting multiple rows, I just shift, or I can click and drag, that kind of thing. If I've got some text here and I want to copy it in rows below, I can just kind of drag it down and it'll copy it. Another cool way to copy, besides using instead of just like cutting this and copying it somewhere else, I can do a drag and copy by mousing over until I get the little hand, and then I click, and you see it has a little gray box, and then it just cut it from right here and moved it to over here. So that's a real quick way to avoid having to cut it or copy and cut it and then paste it somewhere else. Some other stuff, you can add a sheet just like you can in Excel. So I have this spreadsheet, and then I can add a sheet, and now I have two spreadsheets in the same saved spreadsheet, if that makes sense, like two sheets, and that's how they refer to them, as a sheet in this spreadsheet. And just to move them around, I can change the order of these by clicking on the little drop down, and then you'll have a move left or move right if there are more over here. Rename it, duplicate it, and delete it. And one last thing about basics, when you started a Google document, it automatically saved the first words that you wrote at the top of the document. That is not the case here on Google Spreadsheets. So what I want to do is, when I start, I want to go ahead and save it as soon as possible, because otherwise you're editing an unsaved document, and if for some reason your internet crashed or your computer crashed, you might lose it. So you want to save it, and then once you save it and give it a name, you'll see the names up here, and I can change the name by clicking on it. But once you actually save it for the first time, Google will start auto-saving very frequently, so you don't have to worry about when your computer does, if your computer does crash or internet crashes or something, because it's going to auto-save a lot. One last thing I want to talk about was just talking about the basics of using your work area here in Google Spreadsheet is the merge across, which you just want to select the number of cells you want to merge, and then you can merge them by clicking merge across. And now you can see they are merged across like this and no longer separated. So you can do this to kind of customize your worksheet, and you can actually go back and just break them apart. So those are just some basics of using Google Spreadsheet.